Hello, I am Adalberto Cervantes, and right now we have again in the program Kirk McMillian. As we talked in previous program, he has a good knowledge about all this situation of RH or negative plot, plus knowledge of the Freemason and even the Illuminatis as part of these societies. So we're going to start talking again with Kirk McMillian. Hello, good afternoon, Kirk. My first question is about the situation with the RH negative blood. What is the difference between the other bloods?
Well, it's the only universal donor. It's the only blood that will save all other blood types' lives. And I think I said before that's what the Jesus allegory is about. Is you know the atonement is it the RH O negative can save all others, but in reverse, others' blood is toxic to RH O negative. In other words,
And
if an
yeah,
RHO negative were to receive a transfusion from any other blood, uh, it would be fatal.
okay,
See, so there you have the whole picture of dying for the sins of the world.
okay. And how the other blood types were created? I mean, it was some kind of cloning between animals, or what's happened? I mean, how the other kind
Uh,
of bloods were created, according with you?
okay, let's see. I'll try to uh, whittle it down, make it simple. Uh, as far as we know, the Rh negative blood type is the original um, human, original man,
Okay,
the first. And the Rh positives are um, bloods that came from us, Rh negatives, crossing with either crossing intentionally with other species or being raped by other species. But um, we know the pharaohs are Rh negative, and the royalty of Great Britain's loyalty is Rh negative, and in fact, the Masons are, uh, at least in the upper levels, are to be exclusively Rh negative. George Bush is Rh negative, and um, anybody of any real note is an Rh negative.
okay. And it is related the blood type that you have with getting into these societies of the Freemason. How do you start combining this your activities with the Freemason societies? How,
No, I just Rh negative is by far is only 15% of the world population, so we're dominated um, and constantly on the defense against uh, more animalistic Rh positives. Like take China, for example, they have the lowest percentage of it, and they seem to be terminally aggressive towards us. And the best example of that would be Genghis Khan and his you know attempts to wipe us out. Genocide. He holds the record for genocide at like 200 million approximately. Um, That's basically it.
Okay, okay. So,
And I mean, you're experiencing that in spades, uh, you know, in your own life from the things that you're having to fight against. That's a classic example of the RH positives. And another thing that is more prescient is you see this inventiveness, this creativity with the RH negative uh, that you don't see with RH positive, and the RH positives are great at copying. They can copy stuff, but they just fall short of being able to create and invent. And a perfect example again is China, which copies everything we do. Comes here and steals our technologies and copies them and sends it back and tries to take over. So that's what you're experiencing is mostly the lower rung uh,
uh,
RH positive.
it is something related to be a king or queen and RH or negative and be a Freemason. I mean, why there is
But
some kind of combination or
there's not a blood test that goes with joining the Masons, but in the higher degrees, once you get past I don't know, I think it's the 19th or 20th degree, they're gonna your elevation in the ranks is gonna uh, depend on whether you're RH negative or not.
so in fact they are doing some kind of blood test or not?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they do blood tests or if it's just intuitive. I just know that this is the big secret of masonry.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Okay.
That's the
What
thing they
what
don't talk about.
what do you think are the top secrets of to be a Freemason besides the Irish bl- blood type?
Um, Good question. Hated most hated. Um, the What we know is masonry now developed out of from the Templars and and then morphed into the Illuminati, which is just it's just a catch-all phrase. And it, we were around before the pharaohs, but the pharaohs didn't disappear. They didn't disappear into the sea, literally of water. They or we mixed with the sea of humanity, so that we're uh, no longer separated. We're shoulder to shoulder with the majority of RH positives.
Mhm.
In fact, I'll tell you right now, I don't ever expect an RH positive to understand me. I put no expectation on that. I just do my best to hold my position and not force anything on them. I don't want to panic them, but it. I mean, it is what it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I
It,
mean,
that's,
a lot of
there's
people wants to know most about this subject. You want
right.
to say
Well,
something else? Yeah.
yeah. Well, here are some things about RH negative. The, we produce more acid in our stomach, and our blood is more acid, and that's why the there's other things about RH negatives that um, like RH negative O's, or I believe all RH negatives are tracked from birth. If you're born in a hospital and you have a birth certificate and you're RH negative, then you're basically followed from birth. Um, so I'm comfortable with it now. I was ignorant of it for a long time, and it was and it's helped me to uh, mend relationships. Like my sister is not RH negative; she's RH positive, and she's always been at odds with me. And she has thought it's because of my behavior or this, all the everything except for the fact that we're a different species. I'm just a different species. We are truly a species within a species, because uh, we can emerge in your case, in a Latin body, or in my case, in a Celtic body. Uh, you know, so um, the main populations that have almost no Rh negative are of course China, and then Africa. Uh, but I find a lot of Ethiopians are turning out to be Rh negative, and Persians. So we've uh, we've merged into these other groups, and a good example of how we try to keep the peace, try to prevent war, is uh, the premier of China, the head of China, is Rh negative. It's called panda blood, and this is done deliberately, where someone of Chinese royalty will be uh, uh, married with will marry a Rh negative into them, so that to produce an Rh negative, uh, in this case Chinese person, that can rule their country, and hopefully keep them from uh, going the Genghis Khan route again.
Okay. And what is the relation between the blood type? I mean, do you believe that there are reptilians, dragonians, or other kind of extraterrestrial entity has a Freemason? Do you know something about that? Because it's other kind of subject that is new for many people
Uh,
around the world, and I think that you have a lot of information about that.
are,
Can you tell us
you,
something? No?
are you talking about like the claim of reptilian?
Yeah, they said that they have other kind of
Same.
blood, but I don't know
Okay.
anything about that. Okay.
I can explain that very easily. Everybody has a reptilian brain core, fight or flight, um, at the base, and so uh, reptilian is just sort of a fanciful story of that. Uh, and the shape shifting is really, like I said a minute ago, about how we're species within a species that can emerge in, like I said, China's premier, and other famous people, Muhammad Ali. We can, you know, because obviously it's very difficult to, it'd be impossible to, for someone in my skin, for example, to rule China. They wouldn't relate to me. Something besides what happened with Genghis Khan and Stalin, you know, what happens when, because RH positive, as you know, is rhesus um, positive, and so that's a monkey, and this is sort of a beast. And if you know primate behavior, they're uh, very prone to get upset and or be aggressive and not get along very well with each other. Uh, and most of all, you know, for some reason, they just there might be resentment towards us. I'm not sure. It depends. Um, but they're a danger. The Planet of the Apes is a perfect example of an allegory of the huge amount of RH positives there are in the world, and what would happen if they were to just completely run us over. We have to hold our own because we are the original um, man, the original creation.
Oh, okay.
Even according to the Bible, because the Bible calls us creation and warns against has injunctions against breeding with mating with non uh, Adamic people or whatever you want to call them, and it doesn't, it just flies in the face of evolution. How evolution can't explain it. The best they can come up with is that we're some mutation that occurred, that like we were monkeys and we mutated, but that doesn't hold any water.
Okay. How do you relate the blood types with Babylonia, for example? Okay, about the religion. I mean, it is important the blood type in religion. I mean, talking about the Catholics, the Jews, the Muslims. I mean, how
Yeah.
they, what difference do you think than the blood types provides to the religion, or is there any relation or not?
Uh, I don't know about Babylon. No one else really can build like that. They're just they're miracles. To the you know to anybody that's is honest about it.
Okay.
You look at the some of these cathedrals alone, and they're just incredible.
Okay, and what about the situation of, well, the Freemason has changed in history, but what is right now the situation of the Freemason in relation with the, I mean, with the economy itself and the different kind of countries that we have right now, and I mean, what do you think are the main objectives? People said about the population agenda. I mean, the total control of us as slaves. I mean, in your point of view, being part of these societies, I mean, what are the what are the main objectives in your case and in the societies?
Well, the main thing you'll know with masonry uh, is long-term planning. Um, have long-term plans that they carry out, and it's it we're led to believe that Israel is a real place that was in the Bible and prophesied and all that, but in reality, it's just an area that has to be developed. And for example, the Dead Sea has enough potash in it to fertilize crops on the planet for 200-300 years. So that's just one thing. So and it's typically a region of conflict, but it's just very hard to develop it because nothing against Arabs, but Arabs, quite frankly, are kind of barbaric, and very few are RH negative. In fact, the Muslims have a real grudge against the pharaohs, stated in the Quran. So, you know, you have to be very creative to get anything done. Like we would have no oil if it was left to them. We had to go in and show them how to drill for oil and set it all up and do it all for them, and that's the basic theme. You have to be shown these things. They're not going to do it themselves. They've invented nothing. I guess the biggest claim they have is to have invented algebra, but that's even debatable.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Eh,
about
about
the
the
situation
situation,
right now is what we know is that the leaders of the Freemason right now worldwide, I think they want all the members to be public. Okay, they even are calling to the Freemason to
Yeah.
start talking about everything about the in this case I think the Illuminatis, because I don't know why is my first question what they are
Great.
doing that,
I'm
and
glad you asked that.
second how you are participating in doing this. Okay.
I'm glad you asked that because uh, the the idea is for to become transparent. I mean, that's the illumination, and no longer a secret or a secret master mason and a grandmaster in the Illuminati. If that's the goal, is to be completely transparent.
Okay. and and I mean, doing this, what they want to reach. I mean, before we nobody knows about the Illuminatis, nobody knows about these secret societies. Even nobody talks about. But I mean, in certain level. I mean, has a secret. Everybody knows about this kind of secret societies, but I mean, nobody wants really to get involved or to know more about details. What do you think is happening? People are more interested in knowing about the Illuminati, so because right now, even in the elections, it's part of this establishment. Okay,
Well,
uh, yeah. What
well,
is happening right now?
the internet has, you know, made all that possible. Where people can look for themselves and see, uh, hear these things about masonry and Freemasonry and these, you know, secret societies that are obviously not secret anymore, but um, that's what's made brought it into the public square. Um, in your uh, in your case with dealing with court, uh, the the truth about court is uh, it's just a renaming of the Inquisition, uh, or you're paying you're paying indulgences through the court. You're brought into court, you pay your indulgences, and uh, the court clerk is the cleric, and the judge is just sworn to loyalty to this bar association, and is just an officer of the court. So it's maritime law. It's if you go into it, if you have to go to court, and you don't, and you're ignorant, and you go there thinking, well, you're going to get fair play. I mean, you're sadly mistaken, because they have we have the common language we speak between each other, and then there's legalese, and this legalese is a different kind of language that you'd have to study to learn in order to even stand a chance to compete with on an on an even ground with it. It's almost guaranteed you're going to lose just going into court. So, I mean, why do people go to court? So they've already lost. You know, you have a divorce, you go to court, you've already lost. You could have settled that with your wife without going to court. If you both wanted to, but of course this spell that this legalese and these sorcerers cast on everybody make people believe, well, I can get better, I can get more in court than I could just reasoning with the person. So basically, it's a hijacking of reasoning between people, because really, aside from prosecuting crimes, there's really no reason for court. It's just a business.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with justice.
Okay.
It's totally subjective.
Yeah. What is the relation between the law system with the Freemason? I mean, there's some kind of relation. I mean, how this law system it is occupied by we call right now the Illuminati, and
Right.
and right now with this accountability.
It's maritime law, and uh, which is centered in Bern, Switzerland, and so Switzerland is the true base of Freemasonry, simply because that's where all the gold is. That's where the bucks are. Although there's the Scottish Rite in Scotland headquarters is an important factor. The gold is in Switzerland, where it's safe. Where it's protected by mountains and where it's defensible. And that's what you probably saw with World War II with Russia. In spite of the propaganda, no doubt Russia, if they could, they would just roll right into Switzerland and just confiscate the gold. There's always a feud going on in these pharaonic families between the firstborn and the secondborn. It's always like that. So, it's the same with the Vatican too. Had we not gone and sacrificed 50,000 lives on D-Day, Russia would have rolled into Rome and would have settled that. That's a huge feud between Orthodoxy and Catholic Christianity. They would have come with a vengeance and just wiped it out, taken everything, and would be theirs, and it'd be over with. So,
Okay.
and you do know on D-Day, by the way, just parenthetically, you do know D-Day happened. It was called Operation Overlord, and it happened on the sixth day of the sixth month at 6 a.m. And if you look at the monument or the little thing where all the D-Day burial areas with all the thousands of crosses and graves, the 666 is right there. It's not denied or any secret.
Oh, okay. With this accountability, do you think that right now with September 11, well, the U.S. citizens are going to have some kind of justice related with the 9/11, and I think that the Freemasons are related, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Well, like the Bible teaches us, you can do nothing against the truth, and you can, truth always resurrects itself. So you can't get rid of it, and eventually it has to be resolved, or and we're seeing shades of that with Trump, that he's confronting these extremely these issues that have been neglected for a long time, and he's already made a state remarks about 911. He can't come right out and say what we all know, but I would be surprised. I would be surprised if anybody still thought that wasn't a controlled demolition. I mean, when I watched it, I was living in New York, and I watched it on TV. And when building number 7 came down, I said, "Uh-oh, that's it." Will not want that to come out, but they can't stop it.
Okay, okay.
It's like, here's a good example: is you. Uh, uh, you've I read your resume, and it's really mind-boggling what you know and what you've learned and what you can do software-wise. And you can't just uh, dismiss that like, oh, this guy just is making it up. I mean, you can not only make a good argument for it, but you can prove it by showing your skills with that system.
Hmm.
Like, in other words, it's not you like you just came up with, here's a good idea for me to run with to try to cash in. I mean, you can actually go into a computer or into a system and show how ERP works and uh, and run it better actually. So what can they do? What can you do about that? It just can't be. That's why I told you when we first started talking. You just need to stay very public and stay alive and watch out for the low rung loose cannons. That's why I go to church. I stay as public as possible.
One of the things that I have finding is that the 9/11, one of the main purpose was to hide the corruption and the frauds in the Federal Reserve and the
Oh,
Pentagon.
yeah.
Even some businesses of the Bush with Enron. Do you think that this is the basic causes of the 9/11? Do you think that in the States, because it's already a worldwide situation for the Bush, for Junior, because he is considered right now a war criminal in a
Yeah.
lot of countries. Do
Right.
you think the United States is going to wake up with the next president? Because new president. But, my next question is: do you think this is going to affect the Freemasons? I mean, because right now I think that even you are in a point. Well, you are a nationalist. I think. But there are Freemasons and they are not.
Right.
Even they infiltrating right now all our
Excellent.
corporates and government.
Yeah,
And maybe they are not share this kind of situation. What do you think is going to be
excellent.
the next
Excellent.
step of the society? I mean,
Well, excellent question. The uh, at the at the very top, uh, it is felt by the Saturnists or Satanists that you know God's kingdom can never come by doing good. That yeah, in other words, you do evil that good may come, and so there's no there's no desire to really uh, have harmony or cohesion because they know that is it's just known that won't bring about well, from the Jewish point of view, it won't bring about the Messiah they want, and the Messiah it only comes to rescue man from his mess. So uh, that was why the philosophy was, well, let's just hurry that up so we can get Messiah here to fix this, um, and that's why you have Masons that you can't speak for each in general terms of Masons. Some maybe nationalists at heart. I never presume to know what a man really feels in his heart, but they in order to be part of the club, you have to look at things on a worldwide scale. But when push comes to shove, Masons that live here in America, uh, no matter how destructive they may seem, have families and children and properties that they don't want uh, taken from them. They don't want to be, destroyed. And so that's basically the hope. They shouldn't want that. So they have to balance the two. With trying to carry on business in an insane world and not be overrun by uh, by one worldism. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
might add with one world government, that that's a hoax because anybody with any sense at all knows that the world has never been run, um, by man, uh, by one entity. The world is the creator. The creator runs the world. So um, you're just not gonna you're just never gonna succeed at having a peaceful world. To not be a race, so therefore it's impossible not to be a racist. You can't even comment on racism uh, as a non-race person. Everybody is a race, so it is de facto that whatever you're saying about a race is coming from your race's point of view.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen in the with the future of the Freemason after this situation worldwide, hating the Illuminatis and but we know that, as you mentioned before, that even the United States was created by the Mason.
Yeah,
So they have been doing good and bad, okay?
government.
But
Yeah, the government.
yeah,
Yeah, the Constitution, all that. Right. They were
yes.
all Freemasons.
So it seems that it's a combination and good and bad. And right
Right.
now we are in a
Well, they're
situation
not
really
right. They're
really
not
bad.
immune. They're not immune to troubles like any more than you or me are. And you know, I just have sort of a neutral stance with Freemasonry. They're one of my favorite people is a Grandmaster Freemason, and he's extremely honest, and I treasure that above all. So, uh, you know, if, for that, it's just gonna waste my time. Whereas, anybody of goodwill, I don't care, what club you joined, um, we still put our pants on one leg at a time.
Okay.
And here's another misconception. People think that, and the media propaganda machine drives it intensely, is that all you need to do is be rich and suddenly you're in heaven. Well, that's not true. The earth is hell. Heaven is above, and I've been in the position of having a lot of money, and it's it's not your mind is consumed with having to watch out for those who are conning you, trying to take it away, and other problems that can derail it and ruin your family and your plans and everything. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. It's glorified, and when you see people, the rich people on TV in public, they always like, oh, they're so happy, but you don't see them behind the scenes, where they're having horrible fights. I mean, the church I go to is full of millionaires, and they have problems, and you sacrifice a lot of reality to be that rich.
Yeah, I think that you are in a more realistic right now situation because the world is changing right now. They want to know more about these secret societies, and it's right now a worldwide situation, as you say mentioned, and also we have better communication using even internet and other media.
Things they're seeing on TV, if they're not completely fake or contrived, there, you know, there's a certain frequency of flicker rate from the TV that's hypnotizing you. You know when you see your kid watching TV, you can't even talk to them. I mean, wave your hands in front of them, and they're absolutely glued to it. That's because they're hypnotized. And so once that a person's in a hypnotic state, their subconscious is very vulnerable, and this is where it's used as an instrument to plant, for lack of a better word, entities into people, make people believe things that aren't real, and fight for things that they don't really care about. They'll see it on TV and they'll think, "Oh, that's terrible. I got to go do something about it." And when it's all engineered.
Yeah, that's correct. Other control of the Illuminati is about the hospitals and
Uh-huh.
the health centers.
Yeah.
Are they going to continue defining who is going to live or die, or what is the purpose of this control in the hospitals? Do you know?
Well, the hospitals uh, are occult. It has a occult origin of basically experimenting on people. You think of a doctor. They say their practice is cardiology, for instance. In other words, they're practicing cardiology, and you're their guinea pig. You're the one that they're practicing it on. In other words, they're not masters of it. They're practicing, and so this is, you see this through all the different medical categories. Is this practicing and always trying to you know stay in control. Play God, really play God.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah.
I got that's exactly what abortion is. You're just playing God.
Hmm.
When it, and it obviously is anybody's right if they want to. A woman's right to go and get a coat hanger or whatever, and pluck the fetus out of their womb. But when you make it public, a business, well, then that's uh, plainly human sacrifice. I mean, you can, make all kinds of explanations for why it's good, but the bottom line is eugenics. It's human sacrifice, and you have to kill people to do it. And so therefore, the blood is on the hands of the ones who do it. And you'll notice also in the anti-abortion movement, they never touch on that. They always argue around that issue, that this is actually um, very similar to Moloch child sacrifice, where you bring your child and sacrifice it, and that's why it's so detestable. I
Oh,
mean, I think a person I was talking to was arguing with me. Said, "Well, why are you against abortion?" I'm uh, a science and carried it out under U.S. Funding. Are trauma victims themselves. In fact, all of humanity is traumatized, has been traumatized from uh, everything from genocides to World War to back to the flood. These traumas are retained in our genes, and we carry forth this genetic memory. So it's really just sort of a kind of a cynical way of going about trying to manage this gigantic amount of trauma programming that that people were born into, and they, I'm not defending it. My best take on it is that MK Ultra was just the West version, the uh, counter to Soviet trauma programming, because the Soviets are very involved in it, and that they needed people. They need people they could program to create other personalities that would be detached from each other, so that they could go in and then they could trigger the person to do something, an assassination or whatever they want. And this has become a high art form, and it's advanced enormously, uh, enormously.
Okay, something that I would like to know. What I know is that there's not only Illuminati. Okay, there are some other guys that even they are fighting for even for centuries. I think. Who are they?
The truth of um, like here's a good example. Going into Iraq for whatever reason to fight. You have to get these soldiers willing to and get them fired up. So they can't be said that you made them go. You know, they wanted to go and they went. So when they die, you know, their blood is on their hands, and this is called keeping the blood off the master's hands. This is orchestrated from a higher level because that's just how ritual sacrifice works.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's
all you have to do is be aware of it.
yeah, yeah. We know about the situation about rituals. There are a lot of videos right now about all this situation, but basically right now we are focused in the future of this of the Freemasons and the Illuminati and what is going to continue. And I think that we have right now an ample view of what is the situation because you are part of this society. So thank you very much, Kirk McMillian, for being in the program. I think that we need to talk more about with you about even with these rituals. Then it will be really interested if you know more details.
Well, yeah, it's leading towards this one world religion.
Yeah, yeah. If you want the next program, we can talk about these rituals and how
Yeah.
it is done in the state because there are. I've been seeing some programs related in Europe and other places, but not exactly in the states. Everything is